Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Hello and good day to everyone. It's such a blessing to be able to be here with you again today on this wonderful Friday. So thank you all. If you're out there watching us on any social media platform, please be sure and join us in the chat. We absolutely love to hear from you. You can leave your questions and comments for our guest today. So as you just heard, welcome to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. And of course, we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, which is available on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. So this is one of my favorite topics of many that I love sharing with you. And it's about near-death experiences, or what we call NDEs. And it's about so much more than that as well. Imagine being on the brink of death and realizing without a shadow of a doubt that consciousness does not end when the body does. That is exactly what happened to Barbara Gail, and she is our guest today. She is the author of a book called The Immense Release, Love Now and in the Afterlife. Her near-death experience gave us firsthand proof that our awareness, our essence, continues beyond physical death. From this profound insight, Barbara has dedicated her work to exploring how love transcends time, space, and even mortality itself. In her book, she guides us to connect more deeply with life, with those that we've lost, and with the eternal presence of love that surrounds us. Barbara, welcome. Let's get you on stage.
Thank you. And listening to you, I thought, wow, that's beautiful. Who is that person? Oh. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Most appreciated. Your presence is lovely.
Thank
You
you.
have little sparkly star angels all around you, right?
Oh,
not just on your sky and all of your beautifulness here, literally around you.
Oh, wonderful.
And I don't know if your viewers have done this, but if you let your eyes just go out of focus and you just stare, you can see what is beyond the physical. Have you done that?
I have, because I was blessed with being able to see auras at a very young age.
Me too.
So I do get, it's a wonderful thing. But thank you for your insight. It's always such a joy to connect with people like yourself. And I'm so excited about this conversation today. So before we dive in, let folks know who you are, what brought you to the journey. And I know you've had so much in your life, and we're going to try to cover a lot of it. But let's talk about you. How did you get started in this journey?
Okay. Well, I usually hear people start with their resume of all of the names and all the labels that we have, and everybody has a label. I'm so not a label person, but for communication purposes, what can you do? So when I was 3 years old, my mom said I began speaking about life on other planets. Actually, I found just the other day, I found this letter that she wrote, and I got the biggest kick out of it. I mean, God bless her. I'm sure wherever she is, she's going to get a kick out of it too. But she wrote, from the time Barbara was 3 years old, she entertained us by leaving the room and then re-entering and introducing herself as Kakrika from Jupiter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it was real. It was true. She would tell us stories of Jupiter, sing and dance. The name and origin, as well as the stories, never changed, not when she turned 4 or even 5 years of age. We had never discussed astrology or the planets and have no idea where she learned about Jupiter. And then my mom goes on to say a lot more things, and it's so lovely having that reach out from spirit from her. But that that was who I was. It's who I am. The work that I've been doing all my life, it's not because it's just my job. It's my work. It's my life. It's who I am. And sometimes people go to a job and they're like, "Oh, I hate doing this." But I never hate the work that I do because I get to be surrounded like the little star buds that you have with you. I'm always in that space of that divine light and divine love. So when I was talking about Jupiter, I've only heard 2 or 3 people who have said exactly the same. I mean, literally verbatim what I have said about Jupiter. And I was recounting, letting them know who I was. And then I started saying more things which were a bit disturbing. And then I got older and I refined what I would say, like caution myself, no, don't say this because they don't want to hear it. But when I began giving my parents life-saving information and warnings, things took a different turn and they realized, my God, what is going on here? Who is she? She's from Jupiter. So I don't know, my meditations, I didn't know what meditation was. I just knew I was listening to God. I had visits from Christ, and I had visits from departed loved ones and departed that I didn't know, which as a child really scared me. And I wasn't very fond of that. I didn't realize at the time, they just wanted me to give somebody a message from them. So I had to mature, I had to grow into these abilities. And if a person stays with it, if they use their meditation, that's where you get to listen, where you really get to listen and see and experience. And this segues into near-death experiences, because a lot of times people have asked me, do you have to have a near-death experience to see beyond the physical? Believe me, you don't have to. Like I said, I've been meditating all my life. And if you commit yourself to that, then you will have, in my opinion, it's just in my opinion, the same in-depth experiences, if not even deeper, because a lot of times we don't remember everything that comes through our near-death experiences.
Right.
If your body's given chemicals, they have those chemicals that make you forget things, make your brain forget.
Right.
And over time, however, spirit can override that and they'll give you those memories back as you can handle them. So when people tell me they don't remember things, I'll be able to see what happened. And I know that over time they will remember more and more. So this is so multi-layered. And scientists have, good day, scientists have tried to pick this apart, try to disprove that there is no other reality. It's okay. It's really okay, because by the end of 2027, because I've been in contact with otherworldly beings, John, Commander Spaceship 5 of Weather Control, who saved my life, and otherworldly beings that have told me, we're going to be known to everyone. So that's sounding like some crazy lady.
No.
This has been my life. I have had
Yeah.
communications with the departed. I was blessed to be in God's presence, the one we call God anyway, the infinite intelligence, and on October 18th, 1999. But that didn't happen just out of thin air. I one day came home and I had been speaking before a large group of people, and I selfishly said to God, what about me? Because everybody got so much out of the talk and the healings. What about me? I was shocked that I immediately heard from God, what do you want? I didn't have time to premeditatedly get into what do I want. And what I said to God was nothing I would have imagined. And I said, I immediately answered, I want to be in your presence consciously. And I want to bring that back and I want to remember it. And I was told yes, but I was also given a meditation that I had to do. And this was a very, it's an intense meditation. It's nothing to take lightly. And I did it month after month after month, because we are vibration, we are frequency, we are consciousness, we are energy. And as we move up into the higher frequencies, our vibration has to be able to withstand that, because the
Yes.
light gets more and more refined and intense. And so sometimes as I was meditating, I remember feeling like, oh my God, my flesh is burning off my hands. And I'd open my eyes, or I'd go, because the heat was so intense.
Yeah.
But after, I don't remember really how many months, but after several months, I had come far enough where I was able to be in that vibration and frequency. And
Wow, Barbara.
I don't even have the words for the
Yeah.
extraordinary experience that was. So, yes, it's been a miraculous journey, speaking with the departed, giving people messages from loved ones who are in a coma. And the several times that I've done that, the person always passes soon after. I mean,
Wow.
literally, one woman I'm thinking about in Boulder, um, she had called me, and I needed to go to an appointment, but I knew I had to help her mom, who was in a coma. And she said, she's hanging on. She's hanging on. Can you do anything? And the whole family was there. And her mom telepathically communicated with me what she
Mhm.
wanted the family to know. And when it was finished, I was in the car and got a text message from Carrie, and she said, Mom just passed. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Like she
So
was waiting for that moment.
she was
Yeah.
waiting for those messages to be
Yeah.
given to her family.
Absolutely.
That's what she was waiting for. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. So when I've located missing persons, and sometimes law enforcement got involved with that, and admittedly, it's the person who tells me who has passed on where they'll be found and when. So it's a journey. You know, I get a lot of questions about the world events as they are right now and what's going to happen, but I don't think we're going to get into all of that, even though I could say a lot.
Well,
And
we'll see where
right,
this wonderful conversation goes.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the biggest takeaways that I have, because I've had 4 near-death experiences. One experience where I actually died. My body physically died, and
Mm.
I don't know if any of your listeners are familiar with Ralph Stresser, but he's a giant in science, and he knew Nikola Tesla, and
Mm.
it's all magical. I can tell you how this all happened. But one of the things he said to me afterwards is, he said, do you know you died? You had a massive heart attack and died. And I remember saying, yeah, I know that, but because that whole death thing, when you live your life between two worlds, you know, moving from the seen and the unseen, that's not the big deal. The big deal for me, for my near death experiences, was what happened afterwards.
Mm.
And I get a lot of questions about that from people, because sometimes, and I know it can be extremely disorienting to come back here. It's like being in this warm, loving embrace, and suddenly you're thrown into ice water again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is a shock, right? So, about me, I'm an author because I love writing, and I always have. I used to go to the Art Institute of Chicago because I grew up in Chicago, and I created past life drawings. And I remember my professor there came over and said, "Oh my God, I ate at the same cafe in the Champs Elysees that you did," because I had literally made street signs and the name of the cafe, and it was so detailed. But I
Wow.
was kind of ignorant. I was 18, and I remember saying to him, "No, I haven't been to Paris. I haven't been there. I just made it up." He goes, "No, you didn't make it up. Those are the streets where that cafe is." And I sat there.
Wow.
So our past lives bleed through into this one, if you
Absolutely, they do.
allow that, right? Have you had that experience? Have you remembered your past lives?
I've had one experience. I did like a quantum hypnosis
Okay.
session, and it was remarkable. It was sometimes, like you said, there are no words, but I distinctly remembered one specific life, the details of it down to nuances. And I've had other inklings, but there was that one that just blew me away. So it's remarkable.
Yeah, the one that I see with you, if it's okay for me to say this, it's
Of
nothing
course.
that
No,
is
of
really
course.
exciting, but I keep seeing you in Egypt over
That
and
was one
over.
of them. Yeah, that was one of them. Very
Okay.
good. That was one of them for sure.
And
And I
Gail
think that's
was telling me you were a healer. I don't know if you know that, but you are a
oh,
healer. I see. And when I say healer, they're showing me herbs and teas and different modalities. Oh, I'm getting chills saying this to
oh,
you. I didn't know I was going to do this. But
oh
they're
no, I
showing
love
me
that. Thank
these
you.
you came in with these healing abilities. And when I do readings for people, they only bring up the past lives that have to do with this one. Because otherwise, my God, what would we do? Sit there all day and talk about all your past lives, you know?
Right.
But
Correct.
the ones
Yeah.
that influence this. So you knew about that one. Awesome.
That one I did. I had a fixation from a very young age with everything Egyptian, and nobody could understand it. And I was like reading
I
the
do.
right. And I was reading the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but I knew I wasn't like Cleopatra or somebody famous, because everybody thinks they came from this elite family and that they were somebody famous. No, I was an ordinary person, but I think you're spot on about the healing thing because I still do that healing with my hands. And I just did it innately, like with my kids when they were young. Like I would warm my hands up and fix their belly aches and stuff like that. So that's
There
very
you
good.
have it. There you have it. A little mini reading.
It was wonderful.
Uh,
Interestingly, the other one I had, the one that happened during the quantum session, I was a witch and I was assassinated during, I believe to be the trials. And with me, I have asthma and I got it at a late age. I was like 16, 17, which is odd that it would just appear like that. And the event that unfolded was they drowned me in a metal cage and I couldn't breathe. And I think that like we were trying to figure out a connection to heal like from that, so that was very prominent, that memory for me. Yeah.
Past lives can bring in health challenges to this life.
Yes.
And I, at the time, was living in California and I was doing a lot of healing work. And I was also receiving, of course, energy work with people. One woman in particular I was working with, and I had a problem with my foot. And what I had seen during the energy session
Yeah.
was that I was in Salem. And because of my gifts, my spiritual gifts and yours and my abilities, they were burning me at the stake.
Oh,
And
good.
I had just gotten loose except for my right ankle. And because of
Oh,
that, I couldn't, and I burned at the stake. And this, to me, this is funny, but I mean, the part I'm about to say is funny. But when I jumped out of my body, I cursed my foot because that was what kept me stuck. I
oh,
had
good
gotten my
Lord.
hands free and everything.
Oh, gosh.
And then during the healing session, first guidance showed me that, and they told me to remove that, damning my foot, which I did. And Patsy, who was working on me, saw the same thing. The whole room turned gold. It was blazing gold light. And she said she saw Buddha. And I heard him say, "It is done." And that problem never came back with my foot again.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So when you do see something like that, a recurring or something quickly that comes in for which there seems to be no reason, believe me, I could tell you about yours, but I'm not going to get into all that. It's so personal. But when you clear that attachment that you have to that past life and the trauma of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
just like that, a person's healed. It's amazing. It's really extraordinary and
Oh,
amazing.
So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
You've had 4 NDEs, which is I think the most I've ever spoken to a guest, they had 2. And that was a lot. So you've obviously had 4. Now, for each one that you've had,
I
do
only
you
died once.
you physically died once?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But after each experience, did you come back with like a heightened sense of these gifts? Did you find out that every time you came back, there was just more and more to what you were able to see and do and know?
No, because I was already there. I mean, on
Oh,
October 18th, 1999, I was in God's presence. I don't think anything was gonna top that,
yeah.
okay? Like,
Yeah.
1988, when I died, I had been born with a physical heart defect called WPW, or
Mhm.
Wolff-Parkinson White disease, if somebody wants to look it up. And when I was a kid, my heart got up to 500 beats a minute, and I just
Oh,
figured, "This is how I'll go out one of these days." And at the time, I was in Arizona. I was living in Arizona, and this particular night, my heart just went off racing, and, um, my daughter was upstairs sleeping, and I went downstairs figuring I'll just do what I always do. I laid down on the floor, and I'm gonna work with God and do what I do, and we'll get through this. But
mhm.
this time was different, very different. I gotta tell you, a heart attack hurts like, oh god, it's
Oh, I've
painful.
heard.
It's
I've heard.
it's excruciating. You wanna get out of your body.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the ability to get up or move, but we had a bay window, and my perception at the time, because the logical mind kinda does that, was somebody was shining their bright lights in the window because there was this
Mm.
bright light coming towards me. And I remember being so annoyed thinking, "I'm gonna get up and tell them to turn off their bright lights. It's the middle of the night." But that was not possible, obviously. But the brighter and brighter the light became, I suddenly wasn't annoyed by it. I was part of it. And
Mm.
when I became a part of it, and I'm not on drugs or anything, this is
Right.
literally consciousness leaving the body. That's what it is. Your
Mhm.
consciousness leaves the body. And I became aware of my body down there, but I didn't care a whole lot about it. And I'm moving. I have this sensation of moving up, and the pain is now gone. So this is
Mm.
excitingly wonderful. And I'm just enjoying the higher realms and the light and the love. But again, I'm used to it. I've
Right.
done that in meditation. I had done that before in 1988, my whole life. But I suddenly became aware from my peripheral vision, and I remember this like it was yesterday and not 1988. There was this presence coming towards me, and I looked at this presence, and it was Christ. I call him Yehoshua or Yeshua, but people are more familiar with the term Christ. And he said to me, "Are you coming with me?" And his
Mm.
voice this wasn't so telepathic. I heard him. Like, I really heard his voice, and I saw him, and I knew what he meant. I also knew my child was asleep upstairs, and I just couldn't do that to her. I didn't know what it would do to her to wake up and find just this dead body.
Oh.
So I said no, and the minute I said no, he threw me back into my body, it felt like, and suddenly I was in pain, this atrocious pain. And I remember thinking, wait, I made a mistake because I couldn't take the pain. And honest to God, as God is my witness, he said to me, "We will help you begin again." I had no idea what that we meant, who was we,
Mm.
but he meant it. He said, "We will help you begin again." And that's one of the huge parts of near death experiences. We're never alone. Not the worst of the worst of the worst. And people who don't want to hear that, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Even the worst person on this planet, when they cross over, they're not alone. They have an opportunity for the light and for redemption and for a quantum leap in consciousness. Okay. They don't always take it immediately because I've seen that. But that opportunity is always there, always.
Mm.
So we will help you begin again. The next thing I know is, and I'll just try to use words to explain this. It
Yeah.
was as if somebody had billowy air, because I'm lying on this floor from which I could not move for hours. Billowy, warm, it was warm air underneath my body, lifting me up until I was standing up. I mean, I wasn't standing on my own and I wasn't walking on the floor. I was like maybe this high from the floor. Okay.
Mm.
Now I have levitated. I have levitated and I'm very bad at it because when I came back in my body, bam, I slammed back in and I said to God, never again. And then it happened again. So I'm not a big fan of levitation. Maybe people
Yeah.
want to do it. Go, God bless you, be well. But I don't like it. But I was now upright, standing upright. And this,
Mm-hmm.
I was encased in this billowy cloud. That's what I'll call it, of warm energy, warm etheric energy that Christ put around me. And literally, he, this is crazy, but it's true. He just took me over to the kitchen table and seated me in the chair. And
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, now what? Now what? Because then I'm like, what now? And I kept feeling his words, we will help you begin again. So everyone
Mm.
had a near-death experience. You did not come back here on your own. You had help to come back because
Yeah.
getting back in your body and reintegrating yourself, whether you're in a hospital or you're alone at home, it's a
Mm.
big deal. It's not just an
Oh,
easy transition
I
to
could
come
just
down.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was sitting there not knowing what was going to happen. And the pain was subsiding. There was this
Mm-hmm.
incredible exhaustion. It was beyond exhaustion. It was exhaustion to the point where you're wondering how you're alive. But I kept feeling his presence and his words reverberating in me. And the phone rang. And I remember it was only 8 o'clock in the morning in Arizona, where I was in Arizona. And I thought, who's calling at 8 in the morning? And it was my mother. And I didn't want to scare her because I knew if I didn't answer, she'll wonder, where is she? So I picked
Yeah.
up the phone. I tried to sound normal. And she says, Barbara, I've got to tell you. I don't know why, but there's this man. He does healing. His name is Ralph Bergstresser. I just read about him in Linda Goodman's book. And you've got to see him. Here, write down his phone number. And I'm like, what? So I took it in stride and made the phone call as brief as possible. But when I got off the phone, it's like I can hear an echo of call Ralph Bergstresser. I didn't know who he was at the time. I didn't know he was this famous person. And she said he's in Scottsdale, which was 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
from her. And so I called him just kind of, I don't know why, because Christ said, we will help you. Maybe that's why. And
Mm.
I left this really silly message. It just said, hello. I gave him my name. I said, someone, I didn't want to say my mom. I said, someone gave me your number and said I should call you. Don't want to disturb you. Thank you if you want to call me back. That was it, because I was so non-committal. He called me back in minutes. And he said, you need to come over. You only live a very short distance from me. He said, you're about 10 minutes. I'm thinking, how does he know that? Why does he know we're 10 minutes
Yeah.
away from him?
Yeah.
And I said to him, I don't think I can. I'm not feeling well. Again, I'm downplaying what just happened. He goes,
Sure.
no. He said, there's somebody in the house with you that can help you. I said, my daughter's only 10 years old. He says, yeah, that's fine. You'll have your feet on the gas and the pedal and the brake, and she'll steer. Just tell her, I'll tell you how to get here. I'm very, very close to you. Well, his voice actually sounded a lot like Christ's voice. It had this smooth tone and this
Mm.
confidence and this warmth. I believed him.
Yeah.
So my daughter and I made it. We got to his home. His secretary oh my God, his house. There were phones ringing, there were books, there were papers. His secretary took charge of my daughter, and he took me in this back room that looked like something out of Star Wars. He had equipment not known to just the common person, we'll say. And
Wow.
he hooked me up to electrodes, I mean, everywhere in my body. And he told me about how he worked with Nikola Tesla. He told me how he did secret government work with our government.
Mm.
And his knowledge about energy and spirit was uncanny. He worked with me from morning till the whole day, till it started to, maybe 6 o'clock at night. It wasn't light and starting to lose the light. And I was like reborn, physically reborn. I had
Wow.
energy. I had stamina. I was all of this.
Yeah.
And he said, let's go out to dinner. And he took my daughter and I to Denny's. God bless him. I miss him so much. And he took us to Denny's. My daughter's drawing pictures, and he looks at me, and he's looking at me. He goes, "Do you know you had a massive heart attack and died?" Because my attitude and my verbiage, everything is so lighthearted now. And I said, yeah, I know that. But why did you call me right back and help me? That was
Yeah.
the part that I wondered about.
Mm.
And he said, because my guides told me to, and I always
Oh,
do
my
what they
goodness.
tell me to. He said, they told me you're a light worker and you needed some help to stay on the planet. If we all just listen to our guides all the
Yeah.
time, like Ralph Bergstresser, wow, we'd be living in a utopia, of course. So from there, everything just followed suit. And Christ was right. One thing after another, after another, after another. And I landed in Colorado.
Wow.
That's where I was told to go. So it is never a punishment. Guidance is telling me to really bring that point home. So I want to do that. Guidance is saying it is never a punishment. A near-death experience is never a punishment. It's more of a wake-up call. And the wake-up call for me at that point in my life was I had left a marriage. I was entertaining another relationship. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was fraught with guilt about breaking up, the family. And I mean, that was just, the guilt was killing me. That's what was killing me, the guilt, because I had gone back to that marriage over and over again for the kids. And it just was never going to be right. It wasn't going to work. So when our immune system gets that stressed out, I mean, a nervous
Yes.
breakdown is literally the nerves are breaking down. They cannot
Yes.
cope. Physiologically, they can't cope. And I when you mentioned having asthma, oops, I want to take this and make this go away. I have a new Mac computer here, and sometimes it has pop-ups that I don't know how to get rid of yet. So
Oh, okay.
sorry about that. Anyway, when we have too much stress in our lives, it starts to wear, and we get allergies because literally we can't cope with what's going on. We have our system breaking down bit by bit by bit.
Yeah.
And so one of the biggest killers of the physical body is stress.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when I was 30, I became allergic to peanuts. All my life I'd eaten peanuts.
Oh, wow.
But that goes into a whole different topic of walk-ins. And I don't know if you're
We
listening.
talk about them a lot on this channel, so
Okay.
nothing's weird. Heidi mentioned too that she had an NDE and was drawn to Colorado, and her dad was there too. So I thought that was a coinky dink. And
Wow.
then Carrie said that she had a manifestation like what you described and how overwhelming it was. You'll find a lot of people on this network love these conversations because they live them too.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah.
if your viewers are interested in knowing about walk-ins, we hear a lot about walk-ins, but not so much about when they leave and the original soul comes back. And when I was a kid, I kept telling yes, stress is the 100% killer of our bodies. When I was a kid, I kept telling my parents I would die at 30. That was it, over and over and over again. I mean, I was so annoying with my prediction about I would be dead at 30. Well, at 30, I went blind, literally blind. My mom, thank goodness, was over at the house at that time. I was separated from the marriage. I had 2 kids at home, and suddenly I'm blind. My mom didn't drive, God bless her. And so we took 2 buses to get to the doctor's office. In retrospect, I'm like, how did you not call an ambulance? But that's what we did. We took 2 buses. We get to the doctor's office. They want to immediately put me in the hospital. And I remember guidance saying to me, if you go in the hospital, you die in the hospital. Go home.
Oh, goodness.
I couldn't just, again, die. That wasn't an option because I had obligations. So I promised them, I said, I need to go home. I need to see my kids. I need to organize things, and then I'll go in the hospital. I knew I was lying when I told them I would.
Yeah.
So they sent us home in a cab. And they said, call 911, call in the ambulance. We'll take care of everything. So we get home, and I'm doing everything. My mom's helping me. I remember keeping sunglasses on because I didn't want them to know I couldn't see.
Mm.
And that night, I laid down in bed, and I saw columns of light everywhere in the bedroom, everywhere. The room that's what we look like, evidently, when we're out of our bodies. They were columns of light everywhere. And I saw this other soul who reminded me of my essence. She was like me. She felt like me. I knew everything instantaneously about her, just like obviously she knew everything about me.
Yeah.
And I was so tired. And I was told I can come home and I can rest, and she will stay and take care of everything. Well, when this body woke up in the morning, the blindness was gone. I was completely 100% healthy. I gave away the car that we had. I called my ex-husband and said, we're coming to California, which is what he wanted anyway. But there were a lot of spiritual growth experiences and teachers and experiences in California. So this was evidently a way to get me to California too, but I wasn't me then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I gave the car away. I gave the television away. My mother, it didn't work for her. So she started a garage sale really fast. And when I got to California, I remember my then husband saying, where's the car? Who's bringing the car? And I said, I gave it away. There was a kid down the street who needed a car.
Oh, jeez.
And my life went in such a fast lane of spiritual ownership. I will say I took ownership of who I was, what my abilities were. And I had the strength that I didn't have before. And I started doing meditation groups. It was the first time I started trance-channeling in a group. And I mean, I just started doing readings. I mean, everything. I suddenly had the courage to come out and say, this is who I am in a bigger way. But I was gone from that time, from, time I was 30 until February, January, December 2022. Because February 2023, I went back to my legal name, Barbara, because I came back. And I have never read anything about anyone coming back. And I was told that part of my, if you want to call it a contract, was I wanted to complete what I started here. I had healed completely, and I knew what I needed to do now. And I asked to come back here. The night before I was supposed, if this is February 2023, and I was supposed to have my meeting with the judge who was going to sign the name change and all that stuff. I was started thinking, oh God, this is such a lot of work and all this paperwork, and what am I doing, and why am I going to all this trouble, and is this necessary? I can feel it. I know who I am. And I felt something by my bed. And my puppy's not down here, but she's a 113-pound German Shepherd. So she always, when she comes by the bed to get pet, you feel her presence. So
Sure.
I rolled over to pet her, and it wasn't her. There was there was a Native American man standing next to my bed, and I knew him. In my whole essence, I knew that I knew him. Mm-hmm. And he said, "I'm Chief Running Bull." He tells me how I was his wife, which I knew was true. I knew what he was saying was true. And I of course, he told me to go online, that I would be able to read everything about our life together. This is just so insane. But he told me, you have to change your name. And he also said, I'm not here to give you predictions. I'm not here to give you information for when you give readings. I'm here to provide you with protection. He said, that's my sole purpose. Yeah, it was like that kind of a moment to hear that. Like, what do I need to be protected from? It was pretty daunting to hear such a statement. But the next morning, evidently, he made the impression. I did go online. I did find his wife's English name was Barbara. I can't even pronounce the last name. Pajuan, Hawk, healing woman. She was a healer, and Hawk was her messenger, which has been my messenger in this lifetime. And I was part of a Lakota group for 2 years. So there was so much resonance there that I went along with it. I said, okay, I will make this name change today. I'm going through all this trouble, because you have to notify everybody. It's so much work.
Did you change your last name?
Everything. How much? Yeah.
Oh.
First, everything. I mean, so it was pretty amazing. And things just, and then boom, one change again. Kept changing things one after another, after another, after another, after another. It kept happening. I'm working on my next book now. It's called Miracles or Madness, and choosing the miracles instead of the madness. And every night when I'm writing on it, I have somebody in here with me, someone talking to me. I mean, Martha Washington has showed up while I'm writing, and she told me things that I didn't believe. So I went online, Googling her, and find out, oh my God, this is true. I didn't know she wrote the first cookbook ever. And I mean, things have been happening. So more of those experiences. Oh, yeah, that will be out this summer. I'm super excited about it. They showed me that picture. They showed me catastrophic scenes of people, earthquakes, and people not being able to leave, and traffic jams.
Oh, goodness.
I said to God, this can't be the whole picture. This can't be the whole truth. And then I saw this angel. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
No.
I saw this angel above the traffic, and the dove, and the dove guiding the people telepathically, overseeing this catastrophe of what happened, and helping them and calming the emotions, bringing everything down.
What state this was, Barbara, or was it?
This is going to happen. They showed me this picture as this is going to happen. But
where
you need to call on the miracles. You need to believe in the miracles. You need to hold that space, because otherwise you'll just fall prey to the madness. Otherwise that will overtake people.
Okay, so this is a prediction. Did they tell you like where, or is it just like a global thing? Like, did they get specific with you?
Yeah, there's more than one location. This is not just one location. And they told me, stay away from big cities. Stay away from big cities. And
oh, good Lord.
Not just only because of weather or geographical problems, but also violence. They have really talked to me a lot about that. I mean, I lived in California for a long time, and I love California. And I had the mountains and I had the ocean, and what gets any better, I figured, than that. But when it was time for me to leave, 1 year before I left California, I was driving on a bridge, and the person I was in relationship with was sitting next to me, and my kids are in the back seat. And suddenly I couldn't see the bridge. All I saw was the bridge going down. And I start screaming. I'm screaming. I can't steer. The person that I was with, he grabs the steering wheel and he's saying to me, "Open your eyes, what are you doing?" And I said, "It's falling, it's crashing, everybody's going to die." And it was just so horrifying. Well, when I left California, guidance had told me, "You will be leaving in 1 year." And I said, never, never, never. 1 year to the day I left. Not because I wanted to, but because of circumstances. And within months of my having left, that bridge went down.
Oh, no.
I know. And I was horrified. And I've seen other events, world events, before they happen. And I've talked to other people, other sensitives who also saw this. But the night before 9/11, I saw that happen. And it's a whole long story, but I saw all the details of it and the map and everything that was drawn out, and then woke up and it was on the television. So that was not something I could do anything about. But with my
do you get a lot of prophecies, or do they just come randomly to you?
I don't really ask for them. They just come. But I don't get answers to everything I ask about, because there have been instances where I've wanted to help, because I've located missing pets and missing people, but I'm not always given that information. And when I'm not, that means I'm not supposed to. And
yeah, of course. Yeah, Carrie says big cities have too much negative vibes, but you also have to watch out for small towns too. Some are very strange. Yes, I would agree with that too. It's like so weird that we have to, and I've never felt this way in my whole life, but I feel like we all need to have our head on a swivel at all the time. Like we always need to be on guard, situational awareness, just like be aware of your surroundings. And it's so sad. I never felt that way before, but I get that now a lot.
Well, what I do is I work with Archangel Michael, and I saw him once for maybe 15 seconds, but for 15 seconds, it was a long time to see Archangel Michael. He told me to pronounce his name, Holy Archangel Michael. He told me it's a higher frequency. He said many of the masters have told me that English is like flat pop. It doesn't have a vibration. Yeah. And so Holy Archangel Michael told me to pronounce his name as Holy Archangel Michael. And I was in a situation, we'll say, and there he was. And he rectified it. He rectified it. It was a miracle what he did. And I mean, I've seen the Ascended Master. I mean, I'm in Colorado, so I've been to the Cabrini Shrine. I don't know how many of your viewers are familiar with Mother Cabrini, but I used to take a lot of people to Mother Cabrini's shrine in Golden, and I would pray with them, literally pray with them, and they would have miracles in their lives. And one day I went with a friend named Jane, and this little teeny tiny nun, we were going down to the chapel in the grotto, and this tiny little nun was walking up the stairs, and Jane didn't say hi when she passed her. And I'm like, I was going to say, Jane, like, how did she just ignore this nun? And then the nun was right level with me on the stairs, and she put her hand on my arm. And Carol Ann, it was like somebody shot electricity through me in the best possible way. And she looked at me and said, "Thank you for all the people you bring here and all the good work that you're doing."
Oh, wow.
I couldn't think. I went kind of like brain freeze, because I was thinking, how does she know? how does she know what I've been doing? And I turned to look, and she was gone. It was Mother Cabrini. She
That
literally
was,
physically
yeah.
materialized. So sometimes I get to see them. Padre Pio, when he stood in front of me.
Oh, I love him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What an experience when I saw him. Amazing. But most of the time, I see them etherically, and they're speaking to me telepathically. Same thing
Hmm.
with John, Commander Spaceship 5 for weather control. Um, wow. Do your viewers want to hear about that? Oh my
Of
God.
course, but I want to
You
ask
know,
you this
yeah.
because I think this ties into like our conversation so far. Obviously, you have a blessed and wonderful life. What is your
No, no,
mission?
no. My life has been hard. Let me just
No, I
say.
didn't say it was easy. I didn't say it was
Uh,
easy. I said it was
yeah.
blessed. It is
Okay.
blessed.
Okay.
Absolutely blessed.
Okay.
What do you think? How could you describe to our listeners what your mission is? I mean, obviously, you've worked with a lot of people, helping them. What about like today, nowadays? What is your mission, Barbara? What do you do? What is your purpose driven life here for today?
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I'm thrilled you asked that. Um, I had mentioned that after months and months of doing a particular meditation, I was in God's presence. Some would call it being in a state of samadhi, being in perfect union with the divine. And God said to me, "My words will come to you and through you. You must speak them, but not everyone will listen, but not everyone will believe them." Right now,
Yeah,
that escapes me because I'm really hearing right now, but not everyone will listen. So that's how ever since October 18th, 1999, that's how I have
hmm,
written my mission statement. My words will come to you and through you. You must speak them. And when I meditate every day, I always say, show me what I need to see, tell me what I need to do. I will speak your words. I mean, I'm human. I'm flawed. Everybody who comes into a human
absolutely. We
body
all are.
is flawed.
Yeah.
But to the best of my ability, I do that. Um, that's how I
Now,
would sum
do you work one on one with people?
it.
You have like sessions
Right.
where you'll tap into them remotely and help them with whatever problems they're facing, correct?
Right. As long as the information's given to me, because sometimes we don't get all the answers. If I'm
Yeah.
not told what to tell somebody, it's because they're not supposed to know. I mean,
Yeah. That's such a good point.
I get a significant amount of people who want to know, when am I going to die? I mean, just
Oh,
flat out.
that's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, it's not though. I
I
mean,
would never
well,
want to
it
know
is
that.
right. Okay. I mean, with my mom, I remember saying to her, "Mom, Aunt Harriet won't be here in November." And she wrote about it in that letter. And I said, "You've got to get a plane ticket and go back east and see her now." And my mom did, and her sister passed the end of October.
Oh, wow. See, something like
And
that is
yeah,
beautiful and it's
yeah.
divine. So that's not a problem. But for somebody just to ask, like, hey, can you tell me when I'm going to die? I think that's like such a waste of a
Well,
wonderful
yeah.
opportunity to find out something so much better.
Well, the way I answer it though is like, and it's fresh in my mind because I was doing a reading for someone yesterday, and I know my sense of humor can be a bit perverse sometimes because I used to say, well, there's several windows of opportunity when a person can leave. What do you mean opportunity? But I
Right,
see it
right,
that way. It's like, okay, the window's open. Are you going to go through it? Are you going to fly out, or do you want to stay?
right.
And that's where your near death experiences come in as well. I mean, let's see, in 19, what year that was? 94, I think. No. When I had the peanut allergy, it had to be like 2010. And there were like 8 of us, 10 of us, I don't know, something like that, at an Asian restaurant. And I said, no peanuts, no peanut oil. But for
Mm.
some reason, it just went right over the service
Oh,
person's head.
jeez.
And I was rushed to the emergency room, and I was gasping. I lost consciousness by the time we got there. And I remember a lot of bright lights. Again, it's funny how the logical mind thinks it's your
Yeah.
physical light. And I'm looking around at those bright lights, and I'm looking around at the person who brought me into the, who's standing next to me in the ER, and all these doctors. It seemed like there were a lot of people, get this, get that, do this, do that. And I'm like, wanting to go over here. And then, oh, I'm kind of swirling, and I'm going through this light, and I saw my dad, and my dad would stand there like that, his hands across his chest normally, and not in a defensive way. It was just what he did. And I saw my dad, at which point I had no interest. I didn't care what was happening to my body. And next to my dad were these huge double doors, but they were ajar, and this brilliant golden white light was coming through the doors. I figured I'm in heaven because there's my dad. There's the light. This is perfect. So I started rushing to get to my dad. And just as I was getting up close, he's like this, shaking his head no, telepathically saying to me, go back, go back. And the doors closed. They closed, Carol Ann. They closed. I was devastated. So I turned around to leave, but that was my dad, and I missed him terribly. I turned around to look at him again, and the doors are open again, too. I tried 2 more times, twice, and I couldn't do it. And I hear somebody in the background saying something about we're going to lose her. And I don't care, but I know I'm supposed to care. So somehow I was thrown back in my body. That wasn't comfortable. And I remember when I came back, the person who had brought me there, I looked at him and I said, oh, am I dying? Like that. And he said he had never in his life felt fear until that moment. Like his whole everything drained out of me because I did almost die. And they really didn't know if they were going to catch me in time. And he said, and then that's what you said? I am grateful for that opportunity to have seen my dad. I've seen him so many times since his passing. He's been instrumental in my life in so many ways. And for anyone who has a loved one in spirit, talk to them, even if you don't hear them, because they always feel you. It's like your toes or your fingers. You can feel them moving, right? It's absolutely the same thing, because we are connected. We're all interconnected, even with people we don't want to be connected, because there's this web of light. Okay, so the only caveat to that would be people who are here who don't have a soul, but that opens up a whole Pandora's box.
I'd love to ask you about that, because the topic, oh my goodness, the topic of these beings without souls, they're called NPCs, non-player characters from the gaming world. And these, I don't know if you ever heard that terminology before.
No, but I've met 2 of them.
Oh,
it's
great. Because
experience.
Oh my goodness, because that topic of NPCs, non-player characters, is very dominant in the ethosphere of social media. And a lot of people, oh yes, a lot of people, Barbara, are wondering if that could be a possibility. Could a being, a human, be born without a soul? Now, the reason it comes from gaming is because gamers know that when they play a game, there's these characters in the background, and these characters are not part of the game, but they play a role, because some of them, like for instance, would be in a shop, and the player would go in the shop and buy groceries from this non-player character who doesn't speak but just gives them the groceries. So they're like background people. And that's where the term came from. So my question to you is, because I've asked this to many psychics and mediums, and some say that everyone that's born has a soul, and some say the opposite. So what say you? Could you be born without a soul, without the light, the eternal light inside of you?
People, yeah. I didn't bring this up. Guidance did. They
Okay,
made me bring this up.
I believe it.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. There was, and I want to not identify people, so I'm going to try and I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
But there was a child, a very loving child, loving, beautiful, just full of life, very young. And this child was not happy in the family that they were in, and they witnessed a lot of difficulties. And at only 5 years old, the child wanted to leave and left. And I witnessed this and left in such a hurry that there was no soul left. So when that happens, there are earthbound entities, egos. I'm going to call them egos. Thank you.
Okay.
That's what happens when you get corrected by spirit. So earthbound egos that came in, and this child's temperament changed literally overnight. Literally. This child became destructive, dangerous, hostile, every word you want to imagine.
Oh my goodness.
Because the soul was gone, and it just allowed the body to come in and be claimed by whoever and whatever. Another person that I experienced this with was, I had done a reading for the wife and the children, the older children, and the readings were accurate and they were very happy. And so the wife sent her husband for a reading. And I remember opening the door, and I mean, the man was very nice looking, very well dressed. I met the whole family. Everybody was lovely. I took one look at him and felt like I was terrified.
Oh my goodness.
I made myself not show it because there was no reason for it. And when he came and he sat down, I saw nothing, Carol Ann. I saw blood. I, honest to God, saw nothing. And I remember getting really like flushed and scared, and I'm going, holy, praying to God and Christ and Archangel Michael and everybody, what's happening. And I could feel all this protection coming in around me. I could tell him about his dog. I could tell him about other things, but nothing about him. And they told me to stop and have him leave. And I did. In those days, I used a tape recorder. Now, you record everything on Zoom and the person gets everything.
Yep.
And it was a tape recorder, and I turned off the tape recorder and I said, I can't do this. I apologize. I can't. I see nothing. He starts taking money out of his wallet, just handing me, $50 bill, more money. And I just shoved it away. I said, this isn't about money. I just can't see anything. He left. He was so angry. I saw that part of him that scared me, that I felt.
Yeah.
When I opened the door. And as soon as he left, it was so interesting. My friend from Arizona called, and she's like, are you all right? Are you all right? I said, I don't know. She said, I felt like something could happen to you. Something terrible could happen to you. And I said, no, guidance was here. And I told her what had happened. I had never imagined anything like that. And I'm going to be very bold here. I hope I don't regret this. But in the news today, you can see a lot of soulless people.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
see, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
I have looked through them, watching them on television. There is nothing there. There's only ego.
Yes.
Some semblance of a personality. One of the characteristics of soulless people, I can give you a lot of characteristics, is they don't have empathy.
No, they're like sociopaths.
They pretend to have empathy, but they don't You have empathy. So when I say that, I mean they know what they're supposed to say and do.
Yes.
But they can't pull it off. It's like when you're talking to somebody and you know they don't mean it. You know the smile's disingenuous. You know it. You can feel it in your body.
You can.
So are they born that way? The ones that I have been shown, it's not so much as they were born on earth that way, is the original soul left. The original soul leaves. This is not uncommon. And you're going to see as more and more exposed, I'm trying not to say the word, criminals and criminal activity, as more and more criminal activity is exposed, you will see people that you go, how is that possible? They left that body, they vacated.
You know, I think you're spot on, Barbara. I have to say
Don't
that
want to, but
resonates.
it is what
That
it is.
resonates 1,000% with me. I think we're born with a soul, but through maybe demonic practices or whatever causes the soul to flee. And then Carrie makes a statement about that child.
I'm
saying,
reading her statement. No, I knew what happened. Yeah, that wasn't what happened to him, though.
Okay.
Yeah. And he has nothing in his eyes. He has nothing in his eyes. And that is a big telltale sign, literally, but no empathy. When a person doesn't have empathy, it's like they're cold, stone cold, dead inside.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I walk into a room and I can read a room just in nothing flat. I mean, it's just like that.
Sure.
And I remember I was, are you familiar with Mensa, the Mensa organization?
Absolutely, yes.
So I was a guest speaker at the Mensa organization.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I thought they'd put me like in a broomstick room, but they put me in the biggest room they had. It was overflowing. People were standing. I was so impressed that the consciousness had shifted so much at Mensa to welcome in me, and I'm talking about healing, alternative healing modalities and, paranormal experiences and out-of-body experiences and near-death experiences and, telepathic communications. And my God, people from all over the world were there, scientists and doctors, and asking all their questions. It was fantastic. But before we began, I had told Susan, who went with me, I said, there's going to be one man there who hates me because he doesn't like what I represent, and I'll deal with it. And Susan said, don't put that out there. Why do you want to put something negative out? I said, I'm not. I know it's going to happen. There's a difference.
Right.
And it was right toward the end of my talk, he raised his hand, and I remember chills went through my whole body. And I thought, okay, we'll do it. And I
Here
said,
it comes. Yeah.
And he stood up and he tried to rake me over the coals and blah, 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 blah. And I just stood there because I'm standing in God's truth. And when he was done, I said, well, I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm only sharing what I know from direct experience. I remember that. He had nothing to say then. He was like, he just sat down. And when everything was over and people were, oh my God, they were standing in line to talk to me. And there was this one physician from Germany, and she had a very strong demeanor. And she walked up to me, and she was like right in my face. And I'm thinking, what did I do? And she said, no, I kept looking and looking. She said, there was no ego. She said, when you dealt with him, there was no ego, and there's still no ego. She said, good for you. And that's all she wanted to say. And she walked away.
Wow.
It was an incredible day. It really was. But I knew he was going to be there. And okay. All right. So guidance again, what they want me to segue into at this time is when you are confronted with negative energy, you can energetically disarm this. Okay. So I went to see a spiritual, we'll call him a spiritual speaker, because, that's one of his titles, or was. I don't know where he is now. But I went with some friends who wanted to hear this person give a talk. And he was talking, and everything he was saying, I thought, oh my God, this is words I won't use here, right? But just a lot of bunk. And I closed my eyes and I said, dear God, please stop this. And they said, put up the mirrors. And I said, what? And they said, put up the mirrors. And I watched this happen. These mirrors just shot up in front of me. It was like being in the Matrix or something, right? And they told me what to say, and I put the mirror up in front of him. And I just intended that everything he's saying, he feels the truth, that he knows he's not telling the truth. There was no cursing or, wishing anything bad. Just, this is all coming back to you. This is all mirroring right back to you. You know the truth. And all of a sudden, my eyes are closed. I hear, excuse me, I need some water. And I open my eyes. The guy's choking. He's having to get water. Then he drops his pen on the floor. Then he starts to stutter. This honestly happened. And then he says, well, we're going to take an early lunch now, and we'll take an hour and a half. So there's a chapter in my book, The Immense Release. I believe it's chapter 10, where God literally tells us and shows us how Christ turned back enemies, literally, by turning nothing but their energy back on them. That's all that had to be done. I have tried doing this when watching television news, but I haven't seen where it's been effective. So, but one-on-one,
I love that mirror. I love the mirror example. Like, I think that would make a great tool to use
it is.
when you're confronted with negativity. Like, just imagine a wall of mirrors bouncing back everything to that. I love that, Barbara. Right. That is such a great idea.
I have done this in airports or go to a cemetery at a funeral. And if you feel bombarded by all of these other people that you don't want to take anything on, I literally will put a mirror above my head and facing out in every direction. But I work so much with Holy Archangel Michael that I don't do a lot of different things, because I know, I can feel, and I trust that boundary. So everyone needs to put a boundary around them. I mean, you get out of bed, you brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom. Make this as automatic before you get out of bed, that the divine light of love enfolds, protects, surrounds me, and buffers away from me anything not of the divine love.
Yes, energy work.
Oh, well, right.
Yeah. See, now Hillbilly made a great point here, which he always does. The guy blows me away. He said, sounds like an amazing tool. It's not a curse, just a redirection of truth.
Right.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. That's exactly
this guy blows me away. Hi, Libracast. Bonsoir. Always such a joy to see you.
What kind of, are there any questions in there in the chat?
We're getting a lot of comments. Yeah, if you guys have questions for Barbara, she'd be more than happy to answer them. Heidi says, oh my goodness, what a game changer around myself and the white light and around my home. Reflect that energy back. Yes, absolutely.
Can I say something about the white light, please?
Go right ahead.
It's really important. There are two lights on the planet. There's the divine light, the Christ light. That's the authentic light that is God who created you. But a lot of people walk around saying, I'm putting the white light around me. I'm putting the white light around me. There's also a light of phenomenon. Okay. A light that is not, it's not the God who created your soul. It is not. It's a light of phenomena. And it's the light where horrific negativity comes from. This is a planet of polarity. And when people just invoke the white light, please, all I'm asking is be aware that you're invoking the divine light of your soul or the Christ light. Otherwise, you don't know what might come in, okay? It could be this other light. The other part of this is, picture that you're walking into a room of unconscious people and you're blasting this beautiful white light around you, they're not going to like you. They're going to be really annoyed with you. They'll find reasons not to like you. They'll prejudge you because
God,
it's too
so
much.
true.
People don't like to have it right in their faces. So what you want to do is sky blue. Nobody, all the people I've worked with, nobody's ever had a problem with sky blue. I think there's a beautiful blue in my motion picture. So put that Christ-like divine light, which actually is golden white. It's golden white.
Okay.
But put that around you, right around you immediately. And then you could even layer every color of the rainbow and end with sky blue. And you'll be more eloquently received, more graciously received, because you're not blasting truth in people's faces.
I love that, Barbara. My goodness, I've never
There's
heard that before.
Well, this is what guides told me, and maybe I should put it in the book. You got a question?
Sorry, just reading. I love that, Barbara. That is, I'm going to start doing that because that makes 1,000% sense.
Yeah.
He says
this color royal blue. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got it even on here. I use that all the time. And lately I've been drawing in more of the powder blue, powder blue or pale blue. If you are suddenly drawn to the royal blue, meditate and see if that's because, I can say it. Master El Moye is with you. Very often it's because Master El Moye is with you. I was craving royal blue, this color royal blue. This goes back several years, and I couldn't get enough of it. And I was on the phone talking with a friend, and suddenly this being, literally a being of royal blue, pale blue and gold and white, walks in from outside through the wall and is standing in front of me.
Oh, wow.
I remember telling her, I got to go. There's this being, and she kind of panicked, but I hung up, and he said, I am Master Omoye. And he told me that he comes to teachers. So when he makes his presence in your life, it's because it's time for you to be out there teaching, and he helps you, but you will feel him before that. I had a blue sapphire ring made for me because that's his stone. I don't need it, but I like it because it's like just one of those things. But that's his color. That's his vibration. But there is a lot of powder blue in particular hitting the planet now, along with that royal blue. There's a lot of the emerald green and the purple, the blue purple, not the red purple. So these each have their own frequencies, and there are different lines of communications and different teachers, different ascended masters teachers that are holding.
Barbara, can folks ask you a personal question in the chat, like maybe about themselves? Can they ask you if they have something they want to know about, like maybe their lives or themselves? Can they ask you that?
I was going to stick to topics first.
Okay.
Topic questions.
Yeah, you guys, if you have any, I mean, we're getting fantastic comments. I love that too. I wanted to ask you about ET, because there's a lot going on right now with disclosure and the possibilities of a third world war looming over us. And if ET was going to intervene and that whole thing, can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe quell our fears, maybe about the possibilities of this war that's ongoing right now?
I could tell you a lot about it. We won't have that much time. Okay, so let me try and be succinct.
Okay.
I just have such a hard time thinking of them as ETs because I know many of them personally. I've heard Dr. Stephen Greer, speak on the subject.
Yeah.
And I've heard other people speak on the subject. I always speak from my direct experience, not what I hear from other people, not what I hope is true. So I want to just, get that out in the open.
Sure.
So first of all, there are malevolent and benevolent otherworldly beings. I don't like saying it, but it's just the way it is. I've met both. So I'll talk about the benevolent ones for
Okay.
now. Okay. My most recent near-death experience was last year, and it was supposed to be an easy breezy outpatient thing. Only I didn't breathe when they couldn't get me to breathe to come out of to wake up. It's what I do. I think anytime I get a chance to leave, they have to say, "You get back in that body."
Right, right.
But I have it on. I have the recording on the phone actually, because well, anyway, I asked the person who was with me to record it for me. I had the presence of mind to do it because I saw Creighton. And when I was, well, you could hear people screaming, get the anesthesiologist and stuff like that. But I was already headed out, and I saw this incredible being. Oh, he was so beautiful. And I just say he generically, but he gave me his name of Creighton, and he was from Venus, and he took me to Venus.
Oh my goodness.
On Facebook, I know, and even on my website page, my website's answersfromthelight.com. I used AI, which is another whole subject because I'm opposed to what's going to happen with AI because I've seen that. But it's wonderful at the moment, but it's not going to stay that way. But I used AI to create what I remembered of Venus when I was on there. And somebody challenged me and said, well, you can't have life on Venus because blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, that's not the Venus we know of, okay? Because there are parallel universes, there are other dimensions, and we're not allowed to go to these planets because we're not peaceful enough. We're too warlike.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe, well, there's the one about John Spaceship 5. If you scroll down on the front page, maybe Venus is there. Oh yeah, that's John. Oh my God. John, Commander Spaceship 5 Weather Control. He helped one of my clients. I am bebopping all over the place and I apologize, but I got an email. I received an email from a client because I had told her, oh, and there's Venus. That's there too.
Wow.
And that's look at my gift from them. They gave me that pendant years and years and years ago from Venus, and I didn't know it was from them.
Wow.
You see the little see the ET?
I do. I see it's inside there. Yeah.
I know.
That is
incredible. And he's holding. So that's a perfect depiction of what they're doing. He's holding that ball of light. They're holding the light for us. They are holding the light for us. You're right. My life has been blessed. You're right.
I think so. Yes, yeah. I would say.
But this woman in California, they were having horrific storms. And she said it was coming right toward her house. And she, from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., was yelling at John to help her. And the storm did not hit her house. And she said the next morning in the newspaper, they showed the radar of the storm, and there was literally a circle where it didn't touch where her home was.
Wow.
And so have any thoughts on Valiant Thor? No, I don't at the moment. I'd have to tune into that.
Okay.
I started meeting them, like, as I said at the very beginning, I told my parents I was Kakrika from Jupiter. I remembered that from the very get-go. And so
do you think they're going to intervene here
to help us?
Yeah.
They are going to, this is what I have been told. I've even drawn pictures of the spaceship, some of the spacecraft. And I took one of them to somebody and I said to him, this doesn't make any sense, does it? What did I draw here? And he's an engineer. He said, this makes perfect sense. This is where the fuselage would be. And he starts naming all these engineer type language things, why my drawing made sense. But they've been here forever. They've always been here, and there are hybrids here, meaning people who are, we've co-created with them. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where some of us who have abilities got our abilities from as well. And they're not going to allow us to do something that affects the rest of the universe. They won't let us do that. They don't. I mean, John saved my life. He spared this one. He's able to change weather. Please read about him on my website if you want. He's in my
Yeah,
book,
turning
but you
across
can
the
read
screen
about him
there.
on my website
Yeah.
because he's always telling me to tell people about him. He
Oh,
doesn't give
wow.
readings, but he does have permission in many instances. And I was driving down from Crestone, Colorado, with a friend, and suddenly out of nowhere there was a whiteout. And if you've ever come down a mountain and suddenly you can't see and you don't know where the
Sure,
edge of,
sure.
you're just in a white cloud. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, John, Commander of Spaceship 5 of Weather Control, get rid of this whiteout. We need to see where we're going all the way down this mountain. As
Wow.
God is my witness, like that, it was gone. And my friend had a really hard time with it. He just, sometimes we get miracles. And people have a hard time accepting the miracles. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that right here where we can read more about him?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure. Now, before we come to a close,
Okay.
I want to say a few things. I'm going to invite you back, Barbara, and I hope you come back because I have so many more questions that I didn't even get to talk to you about. So I hope you come back in soon for a part 2 of this.
We can do that. We can do that once a month.
I would love it. I would love it. So folks can reach you on your website, right? You have your services. Excuse me.
Well, you can go to the homepage and there's a little thing to click on.
Okay. So
All
they
the way
can reach you.
Yeah. Oh, look at you.
Okay.
You're so techie. There you go. And then there's more podcasts.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but up
And of
here,
course,
just right in here, get in touch.
Of course, your book, your wonderful book that I read and I absolutely loved.
Thank you.
Highly recommend it to people. If you want to show a copy of that, go right ahead. Barbara, show the folks your beautiful cover.
It's in my bookshelf.
Oh, hold on. Let me.
If I move over, oh my God. Yeah. But it's on Amazon.
Okay, so it's got my little bookmarker in it, so excuse. But this is Barbara's book and the cover.
Thank you.
You guys, you know I'm an avid book reader, and I'm like I'm almost finished.
Oh my God.
I think I'm on page 155 or something, but excellent read. Excellent read. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So we're going to schedule another one of these conversations because I truly believe, as I said before, that you've led a blessed life. No one's life is pain-free. I can attest to that. Everyone in the chat, we all suffer in one form or another. And I think the lessons that you're here to teach us are absolutely imperative and essential for us to listen and pay attention to. And that's why I want to have you back. Because
can I just close with something?
Absolutely. Take your time.
There's a man standing behind you, and he keeps drawing the letter J.
Oh, Jesus.
And well, it's not for Jesus, though.
No. Go ahead.
He's standing behind you. I just heard a loud crack here in my room, like a thunderbolt. And that was his confirmation that no, it's not for J. He said, that's my name. So his name began with the letter J, and he's got a hand on each one of your shoulders.
Oh, God.
And he said, I've never left you. And he wanted me to give you that message before closing today. Thank you. He feels very warm. His energy was always very warm when he was here. He's just like a teddy bear. Yeah, that's what I feel like. When I feel his energy, it's like he's like a teddy bear just holding you.
Barbara.
Oh, is it okay if I did that? Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you don't know what a blessing that was. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
You are the first person. Let me explain. I lost, and everybody in the chat that I'm blessed with, I'm going to start crying. So
I'm
sorry. No, Barbara, let me tell you. I was married to the most wonderful human being that God ever created on the planet in my eyes.
Joseph.
He passed. Joseph.
Oh my
Now
God.
I told
I'm
you
seeing
nothing.
Joseph. No, I'm seeing like a white.
Nothing.
No, there's a plaque on the well, it's not physically on your wall, but I suddenly saw a plaque on the wall. Did you make a plaque with his name Joseph? Because that's
Yeah.
what you did?
It's where his remains are.
Okay, well that's what he's showing me. He
Yeah.
knows about the plaque on the wall.
It's in the next room.
And
yeah.
he loves that you did that.
Barbara, I have to say this. Today is Joseph's birthday.
Oh my God.
So the message that you gave me is mind-blowing because I woke up, before I went to bed last night, I talked to him every day, and I wanted to make sure that he knew I remembered his birthday, and I honored him on, the best way that I could. But yeah, I do too. You guys, you have to realize something. I told Barbara nothing about Joseph. Nothing, right, Barbara?
Oh no,
Not
I've actually, and I'm sorry, but I didn't know about your podcast.
No.
I love you. I just love you. But I've got to tell you something. He's telling me something now. And he said you thought it was your idea. And what he's talking about was, do you remember when you gave me all these different dates that I could do this
Yes.
interview with you? And
Yes.
and I kept hearing
Oh my God.
saying March 13th. And I said, well, it's Friday the 13th. I don't know. And then people were telling me, well, it's Mercury retrograde. I don't know if this is a good idea. And no matter what I said, I kept hearing this voice saying March 13th, that I had to do this today. So happy birthday, Joey. God
oh my
bless
God. Do you know, I didn't eat when I made this date with you. I swear on everything holy, I didn't think of Joey's birthday. It just happened.
It was meant to happen. This was. Yeah. Wow.
Knowing that he's here with me, I can't even. I'm sorry.
Oh, maybe I should have waited till later.
No. It's perfect. I'm sorry. I never cry on my podcast, but thank you, Barbara, for that.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Well, don't go anywhere, okay? I'm going to say goodbye to folks, but if you could stick around, I would appreciate it, Barbara. Thank you for today. It was truly a blessing. We will see you again soon. Stay right where you're at. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I'm sorry I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us today. I'll get it together. It means so much to me that you guys show up all the time. And we love United Public Radio. Thank you so much to them. And I should probably go. But I will see you all next week. We have some amazing guests next week as well. So God bless each and every one of you. So much love. Stay well.